welcome all of you to participate today in Gems from the Wisdom Traditions, a conversation circle.
Thank you for the introduction. My first, when we all start off acting when we're kids, and I was in church pageants and little school plays, you're told things like, okay, play happy. Let it, like sort of like the movement exercise you were talking about, now be sad, now be angry. And we all of us walking around the room were displaying these emotions, and they looked very similar: happy, sad, angry, And this wonderful instructor said, can you be happy and go like this? And can you be angry and go like this? There's so many different levels it really opened my eyes to the different levels of emotions and how we physically manifest them and how we fight them. So one of my favorite things that we have to tell actors all the time is, okay, you're playing a character who's drunk, but drunk people don't try to act drunk, they try to act sober. And if you're playing a character who is crying, they're upset about something, we humans try not to cry.
We have Diana in the house, and I wonder if Diana might like to make a comment at this point.
Yeah, I love this conversation. Thank you so much. It's really, really important, because what we're referring to is to be aware of our beliefs and our thoughts. And in cognitive therapy, what they talk about is there's an activating event or something happens, and there's a belief, and then there's a consequence. And the consequence may be an emotion, it may be a reaction, and it can be automatic. We don't realize that all of a sudden this thing happened, and there's an instantaneous belief, and then we react in a certain way. One of my clients, she was in the mall, and all of a sudden she burst out crying, and she realized she had smelled the tobacco of her husband that died, and she just lost it. And this was 5 years after he passed. And so I think if we can be aware of the committee inside of us or what our thoughts are, we can make a choice, and it's a split second choice between reacting and responding. And I think that is a really, it's taking that breath when something happens, and then making a choice. Am I automatically reacting, or do I want to make a choice of how I respond? Another client of mine, her husband, she made this beautiful dinner, and he forgot to come down. He was busy working. It was for their anniversary. And I was so impressed with her. She says, I didn't get mad. I figured he was very busy. I would have been pissed. I make this delicious dinner with candles and everything, but she made the conscious decision to say, he's just very busy. I'll go up and remind him. And it's like, what is our choice? Can we surrender and really be guided and listen to what our internal dialogue is, so that we can respond instead of always react? And many times we can't. Many times with PTSD or other things, it's like it becomes an automatic response, and we don't know where it comes from. But there's some activating event. The visual for that is like there's a flame, and there's a wick, and then there's a piece of dynamite, and once you light the wick, can we cut the belief or the thought so it doesn't explode? Or do we really make a choice of how we want to, what our emotion is? Sometimes we don't have that awareness, but I think that's really being more aware of ourselves and what we're thinking, and then really taking that breath and making a choice of how do I want to respond, or what's the purpose of my response. So I think that's a really important point, to really look at what are our beliefs. It's like not choosing to respond to the telephone and saying, I am going to just be present right here now, and then I can respond to that later. So I think that's a really important part of my emotions, because I think we do have a choice, but we don't feel like we do. We forget that it's the thinking part of it that makes our emotions.